The most powerful sign that your opposition fears you is when they go out of their way to make you lose your composure. A single sentence reveals everything playing out around you right now, the kind of truth that strikes the ego of your adversary, because the instant they recognize they cannot halt your advancement, they begin trying to dictate your responses. Consider this. When a person knows they cannot outpace your momentum, they aim to rattle your spirit. When they cannot derail your destiny, they push you towards self-destruction. Picture someone hurling rocks at a window, not because the glass is fragile, but because the brilliance within is more than they can tolerate. And here is the reality they hope you never grasp. The majority of chosen ones are not brought down by outside assaults. They are undone by the words that escape them under pressure. Here is another reality. Those who dread your ascent rarely assault your power. They target your tranquility. They prod your patience. They push the sore places. They thrive when you lash out, because every heated response becomes ammunition they can use against you. They crave you speaking, not contemplating, reacting rather than deciding, justifying, protecting, or quarreling rather than guarding your next step. And the truth is straightforward. Chosen ones are not defeated because they are incorrect. They are defeated because they speak at the wrong moment. The universe sees the tension surrounding you. You are not imagining it. Individuals are behaving strangely for a reason. Some are observing your every action, trying to determine how near you are to your breakthrough. Some are testing your patience because they want you to lose composure. Others want entry into your thoughts so they can twist your words into stories that place you at a disadvantage. When your fate begins to shift into a higher lane, the energy surrounding you always turns turbulent. It feels as though the universe flips the switch, and everyone who was concealed in the dark reveals their true face. That is why you are being told to hold your tongue. This is not the time to explain yourself to anyone. This is not the time to argue. This is not the time to react from emotion. Right now, even a single phrase spoken out of frustration can damage something the universe has been preparing for you. You do not need to keep demonstrating who you are. You do not need to defend your name in spaces that have not earned your voice. Silence will clear people out faster than any confrontation ever could. Consider how many times in your life things collapsed because you revealed too much too early. How many errors came from reacting rather than observing? How many opportunities vanished because you confided in the wrong people with the right information? Now you are being offered a second chance to approach it differently. The instruction is simple. Protect your mouth to protect your future. This is the phase where every word carries weight. Every reaction matters. Every conversation has significance. And the universe is telling you to pause your tongue, because something major is aligning for you. When you stand at the threshold of a major shift, silence becomes a form of self-respect. It becomes strategy. It becomes power. It becomes a shield. Adversaries despise silence because silence keeps them out of your mind. Silence keeps them guessing. Silence makes them crumble because they cannot feed off your energy. Those who want to see you fall need you to talk. They need you to respond. They need you to give them something to twist, something to circulate, something to exploit. When you refuse to speak, you cut off their supply. Here is the truth. Many chosen ones do not realize until it is too late. People do not need to know your thoughts to stop you. They only need you to speak without thinking. They want to drag you into heated arguments, pointless debates, and emotional conversations that only drain your spirit. They want you to act from anger so they can say, "See, this is who they truly are." But silence ruins all their plans. Silence makes the universe your spokesperson. Silence lets truth expose the liars. Silence lets time reveal who was pulling strings behind the curtain. Silence shows who collapses when they cannot control your emotions. You do not need to clap back right now. You do not need to respond to comments meant to diminish you. You do not need to explain why you are moving differently. You do not need to justify your growth. The more you rise, the less you need to talk. This phase is about discipline. It is about embracing the power of not reacting. The opposition wants a reaction because your reaction is the only thing they still have power over. They cannot stop what the universe is shifting in your favor. They cannot block what is meant for you, but they can distract you. They can derail your focus. They can push you into mistakes that set you back months, sometimes years. And all it takes is one sentence spoken at the wrong moment. Chosen one, you are being guided. You are being shielded. You are being prepared. This is not silence born of fear. This is silence born of wisdom. When the noise around you grows loud, it signals that your breakthrough is approaching. And when your breakthrough is near, your tongue becomes the gatekeeper of your destiny. Hold your tongue. Not because you are weak, but because you are about to step into a version of yourself that demands peace, not drama, clarity, not chaos, strategy, not impulse. This is not the time to talk. This is the time to observe, to reflect, to remain quiet while the universe arranges things into place. Your silence right now is not just a choice, it is a weapon. Use it wisely. Now, breathe. Stay with me because what comes next will show you precisely why this is not the moment to talk, but the moment to rise. Let us step forward. Number 1, the warning they hoped you would overlook. Nothing frightens an adversary more than a chosen one who refuses to speak when they are attempting to provoke them. That single line strikes like a hammer to their ego, and honestly, they deserve it, because the moment you stop reacting, their entire strategy crumbles. Those who want to see you lose do not fear your strength. They fear your silence. They fear it because silence means they cannot read you, cannot access you, cannot manipulate you, cannot twist anything you say. Silence is the door slamming in their face. Silence is you taking the steering wheel back. Silence is the moment they realize their petty mind games are no longer effective. You are stepping into a phase where people will prod your patience just to hear what spills from your mouth. They will read your expressions, test your mood, drag you into pointless exchanges, and press your buttons in ways that feel deliberate. And let us be honest, most of it is deliberate. It is not random. It is not just how they are. It is calculated. Because when people sense your energy rising, they panic. When they witness you shifting, they scramble. When they sense that you are becoming harder to predict, they try to pull you back into the old you, the talkative you, the reactive you, the you who offered explanations, the you who overshared, the you who tried to be understood. But that version of you is gone, and some people cannot handle that. This warning is simple but sharp. You are in a season where every word can be wielded for or against you. Think of this as walking through a corridor filled with open microphones. One wrong sentence spoken from frustration, impatience, or emotion could echo into places you did not anticipate. One reaction could be replayed, repeated, misinterpreted, or weaponized. Not because you are weak, but because your next step is too significant, and the universe is trying to protect you from yourself. Let us break something open here. There are moments in a chosen one's life when silence is not avoidance, it is elevation. Silence is how you rise without offering anyone a shortcut into your process. It is how you shield your ideas before they are ready. It is how you guard your emotional energy while the universe is rearranging things for you. But silence also exposes people. When you stop talking, watch how many people suddenly become irritated. That reaction is not random. That irritation comes from people who only appreciated you when your voice made them comfortable. When your words benefited them, when your openness created access they did not earn. Here is a metaphor you will understand. Imagine you are upgrading your software. You are installing a new, stronger operating system. This process demands energy, bandwidth, and focus. You cannot have random pop-up windows distracting you. You cannot have background programs draining your power. And you definitely cannot afford a virus disguised as a friendly notification. That is precisely what pointless conversations and emotional arguments are right now. They are viruses attempting to drain your focus and interrupt your upgrade. The universe is warning you because you are rising into a version of yourself that demands emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence begins with knowing when to speak and when to keep your mouth closed. Now, let us answer a question that is probably echoing in your mind. Why now? Why is silence so critical at this exact moment? Because people around you are shifting. Some are revealing their true motives. Some are pretending to be on your side while fishing for information. Some are smiling while collecting details to twist later. Some are quietly threatened because they can feel the shift in your energy even before you do. And others are simply jealous because you are starting to outgrow the box they kept you in. Your silence frightens them because it forces them to face their own insecurities. It is easier for them when you are predictable, when you talk too much, when you react instantly, when you justify yourself, when you defend yourself. But the moment you begin speaking less, observing more, moving quietly, and thinking before you respond, they lose their grip. That loss of control is the genuine reason they are working so hard to stir you up. And here is the fact most people never admit. Some attacks only exist to make you talk. Think about that. Not to defeat you, not to damage your reputation, not to expose you, but to make you open your mouth and say something they can use. Once you understand that, you stop taking everything personally. You stop letting people drag you into emotional traps. You start seeing the game for what it is, an attempt to break your discipline. Chosen one, this warning is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to sharpen you. You are not being told to stay silent forever. You are being told to stay silent strategically because the energy around you is shifting fast. There are conversations unfolding behind your back that you do not need to attend. There are eyes on you that you do not need to acknowledge. There are arguments waiting for you that you do not need to enter. Silence is how you rise above all of it, without wasting a single word. Let us make one thing clear. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not fear. Silence is not surrender. Silence is control. Silence is maturity. Silence is power. It is knowing that not everyone deserves access to your thoughts. It is understanding that not every question deserves an answer. It is accepting that people will misunderstand you. And that is acceptable because your destiny does not depend on their understanding. You do not need to yell to prove a point. You do not need to defend yourself in front of those committed to misunderstanding you. You do not need to respond to disrespect. You do not need to correct every lie. You do not need to clap back at every insult. The universe will clear out the noise for you. Your silence will reveal who is real and who is pretending. Let me share another truth. The enemy becomes loud when their time is short. When someone knows they are losing their grip on your energy, they become desperate. They push harder. They prod deeper. They test your patience more aggressively. That is precisely why this warning is arriving now. Because your next chapter depends on your self-control. Your future depends on your restraint. Your reputation depends on your capacity to not let emotions speak for you. And here is the part that will strike you hardest. The chosen ones who lose their destiny do not lose it from failure. They lose it from talking too much in seasons where silence was required. You are not going to repeat that pattern right now. You are being refined. You are being upgraded. You are being pushed to protect your tongue because the universe is aligning things behind the scenes that require secrecy. Not everyone can know your plans. Not everyone can handle your dreams. Not everyone should have access to your process. Some chapters must stay private until they are complete. So ask yourself, who benefits when you overshare? Who gains when you react emotionally? Who smiles when you lose your patience? Who gets louder when you go quiet? The answers to those questions will tell you everything you need to know about who stands with you and who stands against you. Chosen one, this is your warning. This is your moment of awareness. This is where you discover that silence is not merely the absence of speech. Silence is a weapon. Silence is strategy. Silence is protection. Silence is how you win battles without fighting them. Stay silent. Stay focused. Stay unbothered. Stay protected. This is not the time to talk. Number 2, the weight of silence they never expected you to carry. Your silence lands harder than any argument you could ever speak. That sentence alone is enough to make your adversaries choke on their own intentions, because the truth is straightforward. Nothing rattles people like a chosen one who suddenly talks less. When someone who used to explain, defend, justify, and express everything suddenly goes quiet, the entire room feels it. Silence becomes pressure. Silence becomes power. Silence becomes the spotlight revealing who was counting on your voice to expose your moves. Let us go deeper. Silence carries weight because it forces everyone else to contend with their own noise. Silence is powerful because it halts the flow of energy people were draining from you. Silence is strategic because it exposes the people who only treated you well when your words were feeding their ego, their curiosity, or their control. Now, ask yourself something real. Why is silence so difficult for you right now? Why does holding your tongue feel like holding your breath? Why does staying quiet feel like standing at the edge of a cliff? Because you have never been this close to a breakthrough. And breakthroughs always demand discipline. Here is a quote to strike you even harder. Your next chapter does not need your voice, it needs your self-control. Imagine this. You are holding a box of glass. Every step you take must be calculated. Every movement matters. One wrong shift, one careless slip, one sudden reaction, and everything you are carrying shatters. That box is your future right now. That box is your timing. That box is your next level. And your words are the single thing that could shake the box at the worst possible moment. This is why the universe is warning you. Not to limit you, not to shrink you, not to mute your personality, but to shield you from the invisible traps designed to capture one thing, your voice. Because your voice reveals your intentions. Your voice exposes your plans. Your voice hands people the map to your weak spots. Your voice gives enemies the blueprint to construct attacks against you. Here is another quote you need to feel in your bones. The enemy cannot predict your next move if you stop narrating your life. Let me break this down with a metaphor that lands. Imagine you are playing chess. If you announce every move before you make it, what happens? You lose instantly, not because you are weak, but because you exposed your strategy. That is precisely what oversharing does. It tells people how to defeat you without them even having to try. Now imagine something else. You are walking into a room where every wall has a hidden camera. You do not know who is watching, who is listening, who is waiting for you to slip. In that room, silence is not optional. It is survival. One sentence becomes evidence. One emotional reaction becomes a disadvantage. One careless comment becomes a weapon in someone else's hands. That is the kind of environment you are in right now. Eyes are watching. Ears are listening. People are hungry for information. And your silence is the lock that keeps your life from being broken into. So here is the real question burning inside you. Why does it feel like everyone suddenly wants a reaction from me? Because your growth has become too obvious. Your energy shifted. Your presence is different. Your confidence is louder, even when your mouth is quiet. And people who counted on your weakness are panicking because you are outgrowing their reach. When someone senses your elevation, they do not attack your progress. They attack your patience. They want you emotional. They want you frantic. They want you angry. They want you defending yourself. They want you explaining things you do not need to explain, because the moment you react, you lose leverage. Here is a quote that exposes every hidden agenda around you. They do not want your truth. They want your slip-up. Imagine something else. Imagine you are holding a golden key. This key opens the door to a future only the universe could design. But here is the catch. If you talk too much right now, the key melts, not instantly, but slowly. Every unnecessary conversation heats it. Every argument bends it. Every reaction weakens it. And the moment you lose control, the key breaks entirely. That is how sensitive this moment in your life is. Your silence is not about avoiding people. It is about protecting the key. There are people who want access to your plans not because they support you, but because they want to predict your next move or sabotage it. There are people who ask questions not because they care, but because they are gathering intel. There are people who pretend to listen, but only so they can twist your words into something damaging. This is where chosen ones typically crash. Not because of enemies, not because of obstacles, not because of bad luck, but because they talk during the one season where silence was the only safe option. You are not repeating that mistake. Let us answer another question that is likely sitting in your chest. Why is this silence so uncomfortable? Why does it feel like holding back is the hardest thing I have ever done? Because silence forces growth. Silence forces patience. Silence forces emotional discipline. Silence forces you to observe the people around you without protecting their feelings. Silence reveals the truth you did not want to admit. Some people only stay close when your mouth stays open. When you go quiet, watch how quickly fake supporters fall away. When you go quiet, watch how exposed manipulators become. When you go quiet, watch how frustrated, jealous people get. When you go quiet, watch how uncomfortable liars become. Your silence is not just holding your tongue, it is revealing the entire room. Here is another quote that needs to hit your core. Silence is the stage where every mask falls off. Imagine this final example. Imagine you are walking through a garden at night. The path ahead is dark, but the moonlight gives you just enough visibility to move safely. If you speak too loudly, you disturb something hiding in the bushes. If you move too fast, you step on something dangerous. But if you walk silently, slowly, intentionally, you make it through without a single scratch. That is the season you are in. Nighttime transition, movement, precision, silence. You are walking toward a version of yourself that has no space for impulsive reactions. A version of yourself that cannot afford to speak without thinking. A version of yourself that knows the wrong sentence can collapse the right future. And the universe is not warning you because something bad is approaching. It is warning you because something big is approaching. Something heavy, something meaningful, something that requires you to protect the energy around you with the discipline of a warrior. Your silence is not punishment, it is preparation. Your silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. Your silence is not avoidance, it is strategy. Your silence is not fear, it is elevation. The universe is pushing you into a new lane, a lane where you speak less but move smarter, a lane where your reactions are intentional, a lane where your words are weapons, not liabilities, a lane where your silence carries more power than your voice ever did. This is the weight of silence. It is heavy because it matters. It is hard because it protects. It is painful because it grows you. It is powerful because it elevates you. Hold your tongue. Guard your voice. Choose your silence. Honor the moment. This is not the time to talk. This is the time to transform. Number 3, strategy they never saw coming. Your silence is the one move they cannot predict, control, twist, or sabotage. That line alone slices straight through the enemy's confidence because nothing unsettles people more than a chosen one who stops reacting. Silence turns their entire playbook useless. Silence flips the power dynamic. Silence forces them to face the truth they tried to ignore. You are not the same version of yourself they used to manipulate. Let us go straight into the heat of it. Silence is not weakness, it is technique. It is the kind of technique that makes even the boldest enemy hesitate because they cannot figure out what is happening behind the quiet. They cannot read you, they cannot predict you, they cannot access the parts of your mind they used to feed on. Silence becomes armor. Silence becomes the locked gate they no longer have a key for. Imagine this. You step into a room where everyone is waiting for you to speak, so they can twist your words. But you do not say a single thing. Instantly, the entire room becomes uncomfortable. That discomfort is power. That confusion is leverage. That tension is the universe teaching you the art of winning without making a sound. Here is a truth most people never learn. Your silence exposes people faster than confrontation ever will. Why is silence so heavily required right now? Because you are close, much closer than you think. When the breakthrough draws near, the noise grows loud. People push harder. Triggers become sharper. Energy gets strange. It is not random. It is pressure designed to make you slip with your mouth. One rant spoken in frustration. One reaction at the wrong time. One conversation with the wrong person. That is all it takes to derail something the universe has been aligning for months. Imagine you are carrying a lit torch through a tunnel full of gasoline. Every word you speak is a spark. You cannot afford even one reckless flame. This season demands precision. It demands emotional discipline. It demands silence because the environment around you is highly reactive. You might wonder, why do I have to change my entire approach now? Because your old way of speaking was honest, but it was not strategic. Because your voice used to defend you. But now your silence will protect you better, because your next level requires a new version of you, a version who understands timing, restraint, and the power of not responding. Silence is not retreat, it is repositioning. Silence is not fear, it is foresight. Silence is not obedience to people, it is loyalty to your future. Hold your tongue. Your next move depends on it. Number 4, the command that shuts down every enemy move. Nothing is more dangerous than a chosen one who knows when to stay silent. That line alone makes every enemy flinch, because silence from someone powerful is never empty. It is intentional, it is calculated, it is lethal. You are stepping into the kind of silence that turns tables without touching them, the kind of silence that blocks attacks before they are even launched, the kind of silence that exposes every fake supporter who depended on your voice to remain comfortable. This is not optional anymore. This is not a suggestion. This is not maybe just stay quiet. This is a command from the universe itself. Your silence has shifted from being a tool to being a requirement, because right now silence is your shield, your defense, your winning move. And if you ignore it, you risk handing power to people who have not earned 1 second of your energy. Imagine this. You are holding a laser sensor. The environment around you is so sensitive that even one loud movement sets off an alarm. That is your life right now. One wrong sentence could activate the wrong situation. One emotional reaction could open doors you have been trying to close. One careless conversation could become evidence in someone else's hands. Silence is not about fear. Silence is about precision. Here is a truth that hits hard. Your silence is not you backing down. It is you refusing to give anyone a free ticket into your destiny. The universe is shifting you from expression to execution, from talking to observing, from explaining to evolving. You are being pushed into a phase where your voice is not needed to prove you are powerful. Your silence does that for you. Imagine yourself as a storm gathering strength. Storms do not announce themselves. They build quietly. They move silently. They grow without warning. And then suddenly everything shifts. That is you. Your silence is the calm before your transformation. Another metaphor. Think of a lion right before it attacks. It does not roar. It does not announce itself. It becomes quiet. Dead quiet. Because silence sharpens the moment. Silence guarantees accuracy. Silence eliminates risk. You might ask, why silence now? Why not speak my truth? Why not defend myself? Because your future is louder than your explanations. Because your elevation does not need witnesses. Because your enemies cannot twist words you never say. Silence right now is not about being polite. It is about being unstoppable. Hold your tongue. Your silence is your power. And this is the moment it matters most. Number 5, the war they are hoping you lose. Your reaction is the weapon they want you to hand them. That line alone stings every enemy watching you right now, because nothing exposes their weakness faster than seeing you stay calm when they expected you to explode. They study your triggers. They prod your pressure points. They bring drama to your doorstep, hoping you will crack. But the moment you refuse to react, their entire plan collapses like cheap plastic. Chosen one, this chapter of your life is not about controlling the world around you. It is about controlling the world inside you. Your reactions are the battlefield. Your emotions are the strategy. Your silence is the victory. This is where the universe trains you to master the exact things your enemies use to manipulate. Your tone, your patience, your energy, your responses. Imagine this. You are carrying a cup filled to the brim. Every little bump, every tiny shake, every unexpected nudge tries to make you spill what you are carrying. But instead of reacting, you steady your hand. You breathe. You hold your focus. You protect what is in the cup. That cup is your peace. And right now the whole world seems desperate to knock it out of your hand. Here is a truth that should strike your core. The enemy is not attacking your strength. He is attacking your attention. Why? Because you are too close. Too close to a shift. Too close to an upgrade. Too close to a level where nothing that used to bother you will even reach you anymore. And when you are this close, distractions start showing up. Wearing every mask possible, people acting strange, arguments appearing out of nowhere, old triggers resurfacing, random negativity, sudden tension. It is not coincidence. It is pressure designed to force a reaction. Imagine walking through a hallway of mirrors, each one reflecting a distorted version of you. Every mirror tries to convince you to respond to the reflection instead of the reality. That is what is happening now. You are being thrown illusions of conflict that only exist to steal your focus. One reaction in the wrong moment can delay something the universe is trying to fast track. Another metaphor. Think of yourself as a rising elevator. As you move up, doors will open at random floors. People will shout, argue, and try to pull you out. Not because you belong there, but because they cannot go where you are going. The wise ones do not step out. They stay inside and let the elevator rise. You might be asking yourself, why am I suddenly irritated? Why is drama coming out of nowhere? Why are people provoking me? Because pressure always spikes right before elevation. Because the noise gets loud when your breakthrough is near. Because emotional traps always appear before major transitions. Your reaction is the final test. Your silence is the final proof. Your discipline is the final key. Here is a quote that slices right through the nonsense. They cannot destroy you, so they are trying to disturb you. Chosen one responding to every fool is not strength. Explaining yourself to the wrong ears is not wisdom. Arguing with people who thrive on chaos is not worth your breath. You are too close to something real, something big, something life-altering. And at this point, wasting energy on nonsense is basically throwing away your own upgrade. Silence is not retreat. Silence is strategy. Silence confuses every person who thought they could manipulate your mood. Silence shuts down every trap set to make you overreact. Silence protects your timing. Silence accelerates your path. Silence reveals who collapses when you stop feeding conflict. The universe is teaching you emotional precision. Not every comment deserves a reply. Not every insult deserves a comeback. Not every provocation deserves your attention. Some things deserve nothing but your silence. Hold your tongue. Guard your energy. Refuse to be pulled into battles beneath your level. This is not the time to talk. This is the time to win. Number 6. The price of speaking before thinking. Your biggest losses never came from enemies. They came from the wrong people hearing the right information too early. That line burns because it is true. Talking too soon has ruined more chosen ones than betrayal ever will. Not because you were weak, but because you trusted ears that were never meant to hold your dreams. When you speak from excitement instead of strategy, you hand people the blueprint to sabotage what you are building. And some people do not even need malice to ruin it. Their insecurity alone is enough to contaminate your momentum. Chosen one, let us break into this with ruthless honesty. Some people do not deserve updates on your life. Not every friend is a vault. Not every family member is supportive. Not every listener is loyal. And not every smiling face wants you to win. This is the uncomfortable truth. Silence is not just protection. It is filtration. It filters out jealousy. It filters out envy. It filters out the fake cheerleaders who clap with their hands but compete with their hearts. Imagine this. You are planting a rare seed. Before it grows, it is fragile, vulnerable, easily damaged. If you dig it up too early to show people, look what I planted, the seed dies. Not because the seed was bad, but because you exposed it before it was ready. That is your vision right now. That is your next level. That is your transformation. Talking too soon digs up what the universe is still strengthening underground. Here is a truth you need tattooed on your mind. Most people want information, not to support you, but to measure you. They want to know how far you are so they can decide whether to stand with you or stand in your way. Some want updates so they can copy you. Some want details so they can predict you. Some want access so they can block you. And some just want something to gossip about. Imagine walking through a maze with a map in your hand. If you show the map to the wrong person, they can change the walls while you are not looking. That is exactly what happens when you reveal plans too early. People quietly rearrange the path behind your back. You might wonder, but if I do not tell anyone, will I not feel alone? No. You will feel focused. You will feel protected. You will feel clear-minded. Silence will show you who was only around for the information, not the connection. Another metaphor. Think of a sculptor shaping a masterpiece. If they show the half-finished sculpture too early, critics will judge it, mock it, or try to influence the outcome. But if they stay silent and keep carving, the final masterpiece shuts every mouth without a word. That is what the universe is preparing you for. A silent season that leads to a loud result. Chosen one, hear this with depth. Some people are not mature enough to handle your vision. Some are too insecure to support your progress. Some are too jealous to clap. And some are too small-minded to understand the size of what is growing inside you. Talking too soon gives your enemies ammunition. Talking too soon awakens silent competition. Talking too soon triggers jealousy. Talking too soon turns private progress into public warfare. This season requires a different discipline. Speak less, move smarter. Share nothing until it is unshakable. Silence is not shutting people out. It is protecting what is still becoming. Chosen one, guard your mouth. Guard your plans. Guard your future. Your silence right now is not a cage. It is a shield. This is not the time to talk. This is the time to build. Number 7, the force hiding in your mouth. Your words are spells, and half the damage in your life came from the ones you cast without thinking. That line cuts deep because it is the truth nobody warns chosen ones about. Words are not harmless. Words are not light. Words are not casual. Words are weapons, blueprints, seeds, triggers, contracts, and catalysts. Every sentence you speak sets something in motion. And the universe is tired of watching you sabotage futures with phrases you did not mean, emotions you did not master, and reactions you did not control. Chosen one, let us tear the veil off this reality. Your words do not disappear. They land, they root, they spread, they echo, they build timelines just as fast as they destroy them. Speak frustration long enough and your life mirrors frustration. Speak fear long enough and your environment bends around it. Speak doubt long enough and your confidence starts shrinking. Words shape inner worlds first, outer worlds next. Imagine this. You are standing with a bucket of paint. Every word you say is a splash of color on the walls of your future. Some of you have been painting miracles with one hand and disasters with the other, then wondering why your life looks chaotic. The universe is not restricting your speech to punish you. It is stopping you from splashing paint everywhere like someone who forgot they are creating a masterpiece. Here is a truth most people run from. You cannot build a powerful life with careless sentences. You might wonder, why does it feel like my words suddenly carry more weight? Because you are rising. Because your influence is growing. Because your energy is stronger. Because your alignment is tightening. When you level up, the power behind your voice levels up with you. That is why you feel the pressure. That is why silence feels safer. That is why the universe is training you to think before you speak, like your future depends on it. Because it does. Another metaphor. Imagine you are typing code. One wrong character breaks the whole program. That is your speech right now. Your life is becoming too precise for sloppy sentences. And here is another quote that hits like a slap. Your mouth has been your greatest enemy. Now it must become your greatest asset. This season is about restraint, about calibration, about alignment. Speak only what builds. Speak only what protects. Speak only what matches the future you are stepping into. Chosen one. Every word you release is either constructing your next level or corrupting it. Guard your tongue, guard your atmosphere, guard your future. This is not the time to talk. This is the time to speak with purpose or not speak at all. Number 8, the discipline that rebuilds your power. Your tongue is the only weapon that can stab your future or protect it. That line alone exposes why this season feels so tight, so controlled, so intentional. You are not being silenced because you are small. You are being silenced because you are becoming dangerous. And dangerous people cannot afford reckless mouths. The universe is not clipping your voice. It is sharpening it. You are being trained, not tamed. Chosen one, this is not the season to talk. This is the season to transform. You are being pushed into silence because silence is where your upgrade happens. Silence is where clarity grows. Silence is where instincts sharpen. Silence is where emotional chaos dies. This is not punishment. This is refinement. Imagine this. A master swordsman takes their blade to the fire before every battle. The fire hardens it. The silence sharpens it. The stillness strengthens the edge. That is what is happening to you. Your tongue is being forged. Your voice is being conditioned. Before the universe trusts you with bigger stages, higher levels, and louder influence, it first has to trust you with silence. Here is a truth many chosen ones ignore until life forces them to learn. A powerful voice comes from a disciplined mouth. You might ask, why cannot I speak freely right now? Why does it feel like every word matters? Because your life is stepping into a precise zone. Loose speech ruins precise seasons. Emotional reactions destroy strategic moments. Old habits cannot survive where you are going. Your tongue is being rewired, so your future does not get torn apart by the same patterns that held you down before. Imagine sitting in a high-security control room. One wrong button shuts everything down. That is your speech right now. Too much power, too much consequence, too much influence attached. That is why the universe is holding your mouth still, to keep you from hitting the wrong switch. This silence is building your emotional intelligence. It is stretching your maturity. It is teaching you how to observe instead of react, how to think instead of explode, how to understand instead of defend. When this training is done, you will not just speak, you will influence. You will not just respond, you will command. Another metaphor, think of a sniper. They do not rush, they do not shout, they do not move fast, they breathe, they steady, they watch, they wait for the exact moment. That is you. Silence is turning you into someone whose voice lands like precision, not noise. Chosen one. Silence is your classroom. Silence is your testing ground. Silence is your spiritual gym. In this quiet, you are becoming stronger, wiser, sharper, calmer, more aligned, and completely untouchable. When this training ends, you will not just be improved. You will be unrecognizable, disciplined, focused, elevated, a chosen one whose silence alone can shake atmospheres. This is not the time to talk. This is the time to rise. Number 9, the quiet before you shatter the room. Nothing is louder than the moment a silent chosen one finally lets their results speak. That line alone burns every enemy watching from the sidelines, because deep down they know the most dangerous person in any battlefield is the one who went quiet. Silence is not surrender. Silence is suspense. Silence is the moment before the impact. Silence is the inhale before the roar that changes everything. Chosen one, you are in the phase where your quiet is making people uncomfortable. They can feel something building behind your stillness. They can sense a shift. They cannot explain it. They do not hear your plans. They do not know your moves, and that terrifies them more than anything you could ever say. This silence is not empty. It is loaded. Imagine this. A volcano does not rumble before it erupts. It goes still, dead still. The world thinks nothing is happening. But inside, pressure is building, power is forming, and heat is rising. Then one moment changes the entire landscape. That is the kind of silence you are in, the kind that warns the universe something unstoppable is coming. Here is a truth people underestimate. Your silence is temporary, but your comeback will echo. You might wonder, if I am staying silent, who will defend me? Who will speak for me? Who will handle the lies?